Well, hello, everybody. It's Dr. Hank, and welcome to Agent Wealth Success. And you know what we do here? We help real estate agents and brokers around the nation to increase both their business and their wealth. And every week we just have amazing guests that can help us with all kinds of different things to increase, your real estate business, leads. We talked last week on how to increase your average transaction and how to do that on the transaction you're doing and actually get more referrals and just all kinds of wonderful things. And the world has changed, and it's changed a lot in the past 6 months. And I am so pleased and honored to have our guest. She has Rebecca with Results, and that's who she is. But it's Rebecca Flores Castro, and welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hank. It's such a pleasure to be here with you today.
Well, we're just so excited to have you because because of these changes in the world, I know what you have really just stuck to those changes and look for opportunities. And you have, for the last 20 years, you've been in real estate, and you have really honed your expertise with investing. And so this can be for just real estate investors, not agents and brokers. This can also be for agents and brokers, though, that I know some of our agents are doing more business than they ever have, and they're looking for opportunities. Where can I invest? Where can I grow this wealth? One of the things that and you have the answer. In fact, last Thursday night, we had one of your famous investor dinners, and you have it normally in Dallas and in California, but just so everybody understands, this is all different types of investing. Anywhere, you can be anywhere in the United States and take advantage of that. And so Rebecca is president of Results Driven Enterprises, and also the founder of Texas Homeowners Helpline. And she basically, what she does for investors, and this can be, I've never been an investor, want to jump in now, and she has a whole concierge service to be able to provide with that. It also is for experienced investors that Rebecca primarily focuses in on two of the hottest markets in America. In fact, the number one hottest market in America in real estate is Austin right now, and it just got hotter because Tesla has announced they're going to build a factory there, and jobs mean homes. And so there's all kinds of investment. And then the other one that has been in typically the top 5 market in real estate for the last, at least 5 years is Dallas and Fort Worth. So to get into this, Rebecca, and I hopefully that overview was, pretty accurate on what it was, but I know you have so much to offer. And so can you just share with us on kind of, what you do, how you do it, and how you can help investors to really get great investments and a great return on their investment?
Absolutely. So as you mentioned, I've been in the real estate for about 20 years as an investor myself, and also as a realtor in the last 15 years or so, on and off, both in California and in Texas.
Wow.
So I understand both the West Coast market and now the growing market here in Texas. So it gives me, a unique advantage to be able to see the changes that were going on at the time when California was growing as a really investment hub, right?
Yeah.
Involved with that, and now be able to bring that experience here to Texas, where it's growing in much of the same way that California was, several years ago.
Yeah. What I love about that too is, like you say, you kind of switched places as far as really why you have these investor dinners. In fact, everybody is invited to those dinners. One's in Dallas every other month, and we just have that next month, and we can talk a little about that later. That is in California. But what's cool about California, and I didn't realize, is you're actually talking to California investors or wannabe investors and saying, hey, where we're going to invest your money is in Texas. So you were doing California, now they're not as hot, and now you're doing the opposite. So it's just awesome. You're in both markets like that and can, go wherever the business is, and the business is in Texas now.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the things that's wonderful about what I get to do is I get to show folks how to maximize their return, right? And not just geographically, be tied to a certain area because that's where you live. And
Right.
earlier, that's where the world is changing to anyways, right? We've all experienced that over the last
Yeah.
few months here. But truly, this is something that I've been doing at least for the last 20 years or so with the whole virtual, taking advantage of the virtual technology and what that means for investors.
Ah, great, great. So, where is the, and you have this concierge, and I do want to talk about that too. In fact, let's talk about. So, if I'm an investor, let's start out with I want to be an investor. How can you help me? And where would you invest my money? And how much money do I need? And all that good stuff.
Sure. Yes, and that's a great question because we do have a variety of investors that we work with. Folks that are just starting out.
Yeah.
Maybe they read a couple of books or they've gone to a few seminars, and they have some money to play with, and they want to know what to do, right? And we've also helped seasoned investors who have portfolios that are growing and want to expand. And so the first thing we actually do with our investor concierge service is we sit down and get to know our clients. Have a philosophy that it's not just about investing. It's not just about that one transaction, but we really want to get to know you and what your legacy plan is, right? And so we talk a lot about legacy and impacting the community, impacting your family, things of that nature.
Man, I love that. I love that. I saw that firsthand on Thursday night, where you're literally after we presented, if you will, that you then went and spoke individually with each one of them and wanting to understand, and had a form to fill out, and to kind of initially start all of this and to really be able to make a great ROI. And so I love this idea about really connecting with people, and then you have a whole team behind you too, so it's not just you. And I met I don't know, I guess 5, 7 of your team members that you have, is you do all kinds of things. It's not just, hey, finding the ideal property or whatever, but you have ways to give exposure to this, and marketing, and your marketing whiz, and do all of that. And so can you share with us a little about your team, and maybe a couple of highlights on some of your team members?
Absolutely. So, as you know, Dr. Hank, my background is in marketing, public relations, and the community relations as well. And so, when we really started looking at how are we going to bring value to the investors, I really started thinking of attracting those agents that are like-minded, right? They have a joy in helping, our investors get to the next level, but also have the resource knowledge. So we have licensed agents who are all across Texas, currently in Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, the Metroplex, like you said, those main hot spots.
Yeah.
And basically what we do is we're the boots on the ground for the investors. And especially because a lot of our folks are from out of the area. They've never even been to Texas, and so we want to get to know somebody, right, who knows the area. That's really important. So that's number one. We have the expert knowledge from licensed individuals who can actually speak on the questions that you have about the area. But what's really interesting, like I was mentioning before about the technology, this is where we the technology, and we actually start documenting, the project, if you will, from beginning to end. So whether you are looking to do a fix and flip, or you're looking to do a buy and hold situation, or a development deal, let's say, maybe building actual properties, because we, as you know, have a shortage of homes here.
Right.
Across Texas, but whatever the case may be, we actually go in and document it, and we use technology to be able to, in real time, let our investors know what's going on. So that's two things. And then the third thing that we do, tying that marketing in, is no matter what you do, because as you know, we're a one-stop shop, right? We do
All
everything
right.
beginning to end. So if you're, for instance, flipping that home, we start marketing that property even before it's done, right? We may go do door knocking in the neighborhood. We may
Mhm.
go ahead and do some live videos in the home to be able to feature some of the things that you've upgraded, things like that. And so we've been very successful at being able to shorten the time on the market, if you will, for our investors because of that marketing strategy.
That
And then
is great. Yeah.
yeah, and then the last thing that we do is make sure that we set you up for what's the next step, right? So here's the missing link that a lot of investors miss when they go to these seminars and whatnot is, okay, now what, right? Taking that person hand by hand and saying, okay, now you sold that property, let's look at a 1031 exchange,
Yeah.
right? Let's
Right.
maximize your tax efforts. Let's maximize that income that you're getting back. So
Yeah.
we strategically look at what is the next step, right? What's your exit strategy? So
Yeah.
the full package as far as our investor concierge service.
That's great because, like I just had, she was actually an agent. Because again, agents and brokers can participate in this. We had an agent that went and bought an apartment building and then sold it after 10 months, and she made $1 million. And so, fortunately, she was set up with that 1031 exchange. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically a way to take your profit instead of being taxed on it. You can reinvest it, and in a way to continue to make more money and not be taxed on it. It's just a great tax shelter. And there are other tax shelters that, again, that you can help them. And I think it's important to know, again, for anyone that isn't aware, and of course most real estate agents and brokers are aware, but this is a seller's market, and which basically means that there isn't very much inventory, and so that also implies that, hey, whatever you buy now for, and even if you don't fix it up, that the odds are that it's going to continue to escalate because the population, more and more companies are moving into Texas, means more and more jobs. And despite what COVID is doing, the shutdown and everything, that it's still booming. In fact, we're having stronger real estate in the past 6 months than we ever had. And so it's like, oh my gosh. So, even though people are sitting at home, that we have lots of people that are out there that are looking at doing a business. It's a time to really invest now because the market is also going up, and so which means you buy now and then can sell it for a greater profit. Can you talk a little about the concierge service? And I know this has kind of all been about it, but can you share a little bit more on what you do?
Sure, absolutely. So the concierge service is just how the name implies, right? If you
Yeah.
think about that, going to a luxury vacation and you have the concierge where you walk up to the table or whatnot and you ask, can you help me find this? Can you help me get this? Can you get me those tickets that everybody wants that nobody can find? And so it's basically that idea of we are your resource. We are the folks here with the network, with the connections to be able to say we don't necessarily have all of the expertise individually, but as a community, as resource partners, we're able to bring those to you in our investor concierge service. So, in a nutshell, that's really what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, that's just fantastic. And again, any stage of investor, and again, if you're new, and that brings me to, like how much money do you need? Most people say, oh, I can't be an investor. It's kind of like renters always say, oh, I don't have the money to buy a house. Oh, yes, you do. You really don't need that much money. You don't need that good a credit, whatever. And so, and it's way better for you to buy than to lease. But what is the, how much do I need to get started with you, Rebecca, and your organization, Results Driven Enterprises? What do we need with that?
That's a really great question that I get a lot of the time. And the exciting news is you don't need much, as you mentioned, Dr. Hank. And here's the other thing is, a lot of folks don't think about what resources they can pull together. And we've actually been able to coach investors, new investors, on how to maybe partner with a credit partner or partner with a cash partner or with somebody who has the land, right?
Wow.
So the exciting news is that wherever you are, you can start being an investor. You can start setting yourself up for success, for a legacy. But just to put a number on it, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you want to purchase yourself a single family home to do like a buy and hold situation. And I've actually even seen flip opportunities where you will purchase a house, you fix it, and you resell it. Fix, flip. I've seen those even with a budget of about $40,000 to $50,000. And so yes, and so we're talking about a relatively a small amount of money when we're talking about investing.
Yeah, and did that also imply though that really maybe I don't need even that much money? Like if I have, I go to you and I say, hey, I'd like to be an investor, but I really, let's say if I come to you and I say, I want to be an investor and I have $5,000, let's just, pull that number. That, I mean, couldn't people, for example, couldn't they go buy a home for that amount and then maybe get one of your investor partners to put up whatever to rehab it, if you will. Again, prices are going to go up, so if you hold on to it, you'll make money that way. But if if it is a fix me up, and that way you can make a higher margin on that. Do you have resources to be able to have me go buy a house and then have somebody else be able to help me and partner with me on that?
Absolutely. And, and the exciting thing, as I mentioned before, that's why before I threw a number, I wanted to contact us either way, because like I said, there's always different opportunities that come about. There's buying notes, right? There's also buying tax liens. There are actually some owner finance options, maybe with a vacant land that you want to partner with somebody else to develop, right? And so that's the exciting thing, and honestly why I love investing, because there's no deal is the same. Every deal is different, and really there's an opportunity for everybody. So absolutely, 5,000. I would say any amount that you have that you want to grow, it's worth giving us a call and see help you find.
That's a great point. Yeah, that all you need is really the desire to, hey, I want to be an investor. And I know we talked before the show that you're willing to do a free counseling, if you will. In fact, you really, and if I can, how do you get paid? Because again, I know they're asking, well, how much of the take do you take or whatever? And so how do you get paid, Rebecca, you and your organization?
Sure, absolutely. So we do have under the Investor Concierge Service, it's an either or. So meaning that if we help you find a property that's on the market, for instance, on the MLS, or a property that we put under contract where the seller actually pays our fees, that's how we get paid. Okay. If there's a situation where the seller for some reason is not paying the commission, or we find an off-market property, then there's a flat fee depending on the purchase price that we would then charge the investor.
So basically, even though you're adding all this value, that really what you're doing is you're saying, hey, we're just going to take what the real estate agent gets for their fee. I mean, that, folks, is amazing, because most real estate agents don't know how to invest like Rebecca does. And again, she mentioned all these other types of ways to invest, but all around this real estate, and be able to do it. So how would we get a hold of you then? Because I think at this point everybody's saying, hey, I need to get a hold of Rebecca and talk to her, because again, if you just have a desire to, without any money in the bank, we can help you. And if you have any amount of money that Rebecca can help you to get a return on investment and find, ways to not have to pay taxes on it. So how do we get a hold of you, Rebecca?
And that's why I put my name here, Rebecca with Results, because you can find me that way via email, RebeccaWithResults@gmail.com.
Oh, great.
Great. And so Instagram, the same way, Rebecca with Results, and Facebook also, Rebecca with Results.
That is great. And again, it's Rebecca Flores, Flores, and then Castro, Castro, and she's with Rebecca with Results. So I just love all that, and I think. So again, you really can get into virtually any type of investment, and it's commercial, residential, and maybe can you tell us what are the different opportunities to invest in as far as real estate?
Absolutely. So, real estate, as you mentioned, the two main differences are residential and commercial. So residential being anything under 4 units. And so even a fourplex, triplex, duplex, those are all really considered residential, right?
Oh.
And then we have our commercial properties. And so that could be, mixed use buildings where the retail's on the bottom and then the residential's on top. There's family units, right, which is 5 units or more. But then we also have with partners such as Jackie and George out of California, some great folks that I know that are licensed out in California. They actually have passed along some properties that are a larger commercial deals. So we're talking about hotels, portfolios, which basically is a group of single family homes or multifamily units that are in a full portfolio. So maybe 30 units or 100 units right in one portfolio.
Yeah.
So the opportunities are endless as far as with the connections that we have. And I do want to say, Dr. Hank, it's not just in Texas. I want folks to understand that our resources really are not only nationally but internationally.
Wow.
Yes, being in the industry for over 20 years, not just in real estate investing, but also as an entrepreneur. We have connections in all different kinds of places. So I just encourage folks to reach out to us, whatever you think that you might be interested in doing, or maybe just looking for some creative ways to expand your portfolio. Multi-million-dollar acquisitions. So we don't just limit ourselves to the residential area.
Yeah, that's awesome. And just for everybody to understand that I'm a resource to Rebecca and can help in a lot of different ways with that, but she has lots of different resources, and so we together have done events that are on the international level, and so we have done an event we did together a few years ago where, just top end people from around the world were there, and I know that the Hispanic community you're very well connected with too, and I assume that Mexico you could do real estate in, and then kind of even going taking a broader approach to this and looking at this that we have, and when I say we, it's Rebecca and I, we have this your real estate GPS to success, and it starts out with mindset training, which that's what I do, and I provide the agents and brokers and investors, and one of the reasons why I spoke at that dinner. The second step is with lead programs, and this actually can kind of dovetail into it. Actually does grow a real estate agent's business. The third one is training and development, which that's what Rebecca's all about. She can train and develop you into becoming an investor, so kind of another opportunity, or to build your real estate business, as she just mentioned. And then the fourth one is really where Rebecca stands, and one of my allies and greatest contributor is on this idea about having investments and building your wealth. And so Rebecca is one of our key components to making step 4. And then step 5 is passive income, and she can also do that. And I know that, you some people that have like bought apartment buildings. And again, we have investment groups that you can use, but they have passive income on getting $8,000 a month, $12,000 a month, just on being an owner and not selling it, not flipping that apartment building. But so there is all kinds of opportunity here. And then another one is becoming a real estate agent. Can you tell me a little about why that would be, and how you can help investors to really get more out of their investing?
Absolutely. So, one of the things that folks do ask all the time when they're investing is, do I need a real estate license, right?
Yeah.
And although you don't necessarily need a license, there definitely are benefits to having a license, right?
Yeah.
So, a couple of those things is, getting part of that commission, if it is something that is on the MLS, getting that bonus, if you will.
Yeah.
And also having access to different information that, your layperson necessarily wouldn't have access to. So that's another benefit of being licensed. And also, getting referral fees, actually. And so we definitely pay referral fees to other agents. And so if you happen to know folks that also want to be investors because they see how much money you're making, right? And says you are, they say, hey, how do I do that? And you want to refer them, that we're also able to pay referral fees out to licensed agents.
Right, because you can't pay a referral fee other than like $50 to unless you're an agent. So that's a great point. And just for, again, if some of you listening and are just investors and interested in this, that it typically is 3% that you would make of whatever the sale price is. And me being an investor, also know that you really want to look at that margin, and every 1% is a big deal. And so 3%, it increases your margin by 3%. And that's really a big deal because, again, a good investor, you want to look at every place that you can take advantage of that. And then we have a system for you anywhere in the country to become an agent. Or if you're already an agent, again, contact or a broker and contact us. And again, Rebecca will be happy to give you, that counsel on where you are and what specific and the different opportunities that you can become an investor. Final thing, I think, or maybe one of the final things is you're just so filled with all this knowledge on investor. But one of the things that I think everybody would be interested in is, can you tell us when your next dinner is? This is a high-end dinner, folks, by the way, that we were at Nick and Sam's, a high-end restaurant, at our own room. And Rebecca actually limits it to 12 people to physically be there because, again, it's this approach about just really getting to know you, understanding what your needs are, and really connecting with you. However, she also has it available to where she has a whole team. And I mean, we had a light show and cameras, movie cameras, still cameras, and all kinds of people that she uses with her marketing. Well, they were actually there to stream this live. So can you tell us about your next event where all of us anywhere in the U.S. that we can see this?
Absolutely. So it's our Investor Connection Dinner is what we call it. And it's the last Thursday of every month.
Okay.
We have the next one coming up. We'll be live in California, in Orange, California. And we will be streaming that, and that's September 24th at 5:30 Pacific time. So that'd be Central, right? 8:30 Eastern. And so 5:30 Pacific time until it's about an hour and a half. And we stream it live, so you can connect with us again, either Rebecca with Results at Gmail. You can connect on Instagram, Facebook, and our link is there to be able to actually register for the dinner.
Oh, that's great. Okay. And again, if you can't be physically at the dinner, that you can register to be on the stream, if you will, on the computer to be able to watch this. And these are great that Rebecca has just some outstanding speakers that, know about investing and are really just some very interesting. You'll learn a lot by the speakers that she has. Do you know who your speaker will be next time in California?
I have not yet confirmed to make sure. I don't want to give her name out just in case.
Okay.
Topic, I can't say the topic actually is how to use your IRA for investing. And so about, how we were talking about earlier, right? Access to capital, how much money do we really need? Some folks have some money, sitting in a 401k or whatnot, and they can roll that over into an IRA. And we're going to be talking about how to leverage that.
Wow, that is just fantastic. So you'll learn about that. And then also Rebecca will take you into more detail and have you actually have a form that they complete. Is that correct? And so, there's a questionnaire. In fact, you can, right now, if you want to, just do RebeccaWoodResults@gmail.com and email her and say, hey, I'd like the form. I'd like to set up an appointment. Again, it's free. That it's only paid, and this is what I love is that it's only paid on results, and it's basically what a regular real estate agent would do. So even if you're looking for a home right now, that we could actually help you with that to where it would be an investment. That's an investment, folks. And so if you're looking for a home that we can, help you, and again, we have agents all across the United States. So it's not just Texas, where if you need to buy a home or want an investment that's near you or whatever, that Rebecca with Results can do that. Well, this has just been fabulous, Rebecca, and I thank you so much. And do you have anything else that you'd like to share with us before we leave here? Anything that maybe we didn't cover?
Sure. The only other thing is, as you mentioned, Dr. Hank, we are growing. The people are really embracing this concept of the concierge service and going that extra mile, right, for our clients. And so please connect with me. I'd love to connect with you and, talk a little bit about if you are already an agent, how to help you grow your business and connect better with the community. And if you're not an agent yet, we are, like I said, looking for more team members. So that's the only other thing I want to mention is, please reach out, connect. We're here to help you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I thank you very much, Rebecca. So everybody understand, hey, you get a free consultation on this, that a way to really just, if anything, if you're just thinking, hey, I want to be an investor, I want to be a better investor, I want to, really be able to kill it. And there are so many opportunities, and we haven't, we didn't get into that detail today, but just to give you, a little tease, if you will, on what Rebecca knows is, and what's happening out there is that, like Airbnb, for example, that people, when they were loaded up with clients, that they but since COVID they aren't. Okay, so a lot of those Airbnb investors, they overextended themselves, which means they can't continue to pay these mortgage payments, whatever, on all these different properties that they have, and they need to unload them. So there is a whole opportunity that we said from day one in February when COVID came, we said this is going to bring us opportunity. And it has brought Rebecca and her investors so many opportunities, but that's just one opportunity where there are Airbnb. In fact, just yesterday, I had one agent say, I was down in Florida, and said, hey, I just picked up an Airbnb, and it was cheap, and just so excited about that. So, well, we thank you so much for being on on our show today, Rebecca. You're just awesome. I encourage all of you to reach out to Rebecca. You can also, reach out to me. I have her contact information, and we can set up a meeting and help you to become your greatest possibility. So this is Dr. Hank with Agent Wealth Success, where we help our agents and brokers to be able to increase their business and their wealth. Today, it's about how really to increase that, both business, because as a real estate agent, you'll get that 3% of whatever the sale of the home is, but also to really be able to start, as Rebecca says, to build that legacy. So with that, love you all. Thank you so much. Enjoy your week. Don't forget that tomorrow we have Mastermind every Tuesday at 11 o'clock Central. We have Mastermind Magnets, and that's where we are talking. I'll give you an update on where the economy is, where real estate is, where everything is, where you'll be the brightest agent out there. And then we're going to talk tomorrow specifically. We're going to talk, but every week we talk about great topics, but one of our exclusive lead programs. And so we have 4 exclusive lead programs that they have built. About 80% of those leads close. And so we're going to talk about one of those lead programs tomorrow. And again, just email me and let me know. I think it's tinyurl.com and then / let's see, mastermind. I think that's it, but you better email me for that. So with that, thanks so much, everybody. Enjoy your week. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And Rebecca, again, thank you so much. You've just been a star, and we can't wait to invest our money with you.
Thank you, Dr. Hank. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.